Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. I'm Major General Tim Mchale, Director for Personnel, Logistics, and Resources. My directorate is responsible for the logistics policies, plans, and programs in support of Multinational Forces-Iraq. In March of 2007, General Petraeus, in a directive to his commanders and leaders, stated, "It is my intent to leverage all this command's activities and resources, including contracting, to provide increased opportunities for economic expansion, entrepreneurship, and skills training for the people of Iraq." He further stated, "I expect commanders at all levels to make every attempt within legal and regulatory limits and operational requirements to use available Iraqi services and products." Today I want to highlight two of our initiatives that support this decision. I'll begin with a program we call Iraqi First Log Cap, which is tied to our military logistics support contract. And second, the Iraqi-based industrial zone, or IBIZ. Both these programs are focused on contributing to Iraq's economic progress and security. To accomplish our mission, the coalition buys goods and services from business contractors. Iraqi First is about directing the purchase of needed goods and services to Iraqi people and Iraqi suppliers. We are striving to put Iraqis first in purchase decisions. LawCap is the name of our military logistics contract. It is the coalition's single largest service contract in Iraq. It is a prime example and one of the programs where Iraqi First is being applied. We are working to direct more and more jobs supporting this contract to Iraqis. In addition, we are directing more purchases of products to Iraqi suppliers. The goal is to have Iraqi workers and Iraqi suppliers to be a significant part of our military logistics support. 3,700 Iraqi citizens, up from approximately 2,600 just 4 months ago, currently hold jobs as part of the Iraqi First Log Cap program. At some locations, Iraqi citizens already make up over 50% of the workforce. We are working every day to open up more jobs on more bases to Iraqi citizens, and we expect to add thousands of jobs over the next several months. Today, Iraqi citizens work mainly in skilled jobs. For example, jobs like construction, carpentry, masonry, welding, plumbing, electrical work, and well drilling, as well as many types of general labor positions. Iraqis also have a growing presence in both professional and administrative positions. Iraqi First Log Cap currently makes its job openings available through labor brokers or employment agencies. We are always looking for new ways to hire Iraqi citizens. For example, we are currently exploring partnerships to recruit from vocational training schools sponsored by the government of Iraq. Iraqi First Log Cap is not only about directing the jobs to this contract to Iraqis, it is also about purchasing Iraqi products for use on our coalition bases. In the last year alone, we have spent over $182 million on Iraqi products. While these products were available elsewhere, we chose to buy Iraqi goods and services. These dollars spent indirectly contribute to even more jobs. A single Iraqi First purchase order enabled a state factory to restart 3 unused plastic bag production lines. Iraq has a strong heritage in plastics manufacturing, stemming from its inherent strength in petroleum, the raw material for plastics industry. It is fair to say that the Iraqi First Log Cap purchase order has had a positive impact on the renewal of this industry in Iraq. LogCap's Iraqi Focus First has led to the purchasing of thousands of different items from over 200 Iraqi vendors. Items purchased include construction materials, metals, tools, heating and cooling equipment, as well as maintenance, laundry, and food service supplies. So how would an Iraqi business get involved in this emerging program? The first step is to register. Iraqi individuals and businesses can contact us through our website, by phone, or visit a coalition regional contracting center or a provincial reconstruction team to get additional information and assistance on how to apply for this program. We are always looking for ways to attract additional Iraqi businesses. In February 2008, the Iraqi American Chamber of Commerce held a business-to-business expo in Baghdad and identified over 150 new potential vendors for Iraqi First. Many of these vendors from the expo have contracts with LogCap today. Iraqi First LogCap also sponsors vendor training sessions throughout Iraq, and Iraqi suppliers who attend these sessions are immediately registered with the program. The Iraqi First LogCap is an economic initiative that is starting to take hold, and we believe there are still many significant opportunities waiting to be pursued. Please consult the key fact sheet you have been provided on how to identify job and supply opportunities. Now I'd like to transition and talk about another program that is providing opportunities to stimulate Iraqi businesses. It is the Iraqi-based Industrial Program, or IBIZ. IBIZ is a program that provides secure locations on or next to coalition force bases for privately owned, small and medium-sized Iraqi businesses employing Iraqi workers. Businesses are giving a land use agreement to establish their operations on a base in order to provide coalition forces a wide variety of goods and services. By doing this, we direct money into the Iraqi economy and help stabilize security by providing jobs so Iraqis can provide for their families. We also create a workforce and business foundation for transitioning support to the Iraqi security forces or to the society of Iraq. Presently, IBIZ is in a period of significant expansion as the program is implemented on many more sites. Iraqi business partners are located on 11 bases, with plans to grow to 14 this summer. More than 100 IBIZ initiatives are either operational or in the planning and implementation phases. IBIZ Ventures currently employ over 1,400 Iraqis with annual salaries totaling more than $10 million US. Many different types of businesses can flourish through the IBIZ program. Successful businesses include building trades, vehicle repair, retail shops, cement and asphalt batch plants, metal cutting, trucking, and generator repair. These jobs are making a difference in many Iraqis' lives. I would like to tell you a story about a young Iraqi gentleman by the name of Ibrahim. Ibrahim was one of the first Iraqi business owners in the IBIZ program. From an early age, Ibrahim learned how to be a successful and honorable businessman by watching and helping his father. He understood that success was a result of hard work, endless dedication, and excellent service to his customers. Ibrahim comes from a family that lived through some tough economic and security circumstances. 4 years ago, he was working as a laborer for a company that cleaned buildings. He was able to support his family, but he was always looking for a better way. He didn't want to work for someone else his whole life. He wanted to run his own company, so he got involved and learned how the contracting process worked. When he understood the proper way to bid on a contract, he submitted his first bid to clean buildings, and he won a contract. Armed with this knowledge and business experience, and realizing that there were thousands of vehicles on our bases that needed regular cleaning, he wrote a business plan and put in a bid on a contract to start a car washing business. The base commander liked his plan, and in August of 2007, an agreement was signed that allowed him to use a piece of land to operate a car wash. Abraham now employs 12 Iraqis in his car washing business, in addition to 10 Iraqis he has working in his office cleaning business. Abraham understands how it feels to be unemployed, and because of this, he is determined to expand his thriving businesses and to create more jobs and employ more Iraqi people. Abraham and his employees directly support over 100 people, including their family members. His business is truly a success, and we are grateful for the excellent support and services that he provides. When I asked Abraham why owning a business was so special to him, he told me, "My whole life I aspired to attain a business opportunity to prove myself and to my family. I wanted to do something good to provide for them." He went on to say, "With all that I have done, it is most satisfying to me when I see the happy smiles of the faces of my children and my employees' children." Ladies and gentlemen, this type of success story has been repeated many times on many IBIZ locations throughout Iraq. We want to continue to provide the opportunities for many more stories like Ibrahim's. These two programs, Iraqi First Law Cap and IBIZ, are ways we are working closely with the Iraqi people to provide jobs, stimulate the Iraqi businesses, and help build the nation's economy. We are just starting this journey, and we know we have a long way to go, but we are optimistic about the positive impact this journey will have on the Iraqi people and their promising future. In closing, we are excited about promoting economic growth in Iraq, whether it's providing jobs on bases, purchasing products from Iraqi companies, or through supporting businesses located near bases. General Petraeus has emphasized many times, procuring Iraqi supplies and services strengthens the Iraqi economy, enhances the security environment, gives local workers a vested stake in the quality of their lives, and increases local resources for the future of Iraq. I want to thank you for taking time today to find out about these important initiatives. We look forward to continue working with the people of Iraq to take advantage of these opportunities. Shukran jazilan. I will now be glad to take your questions. Sure.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله المراد يا سوا.
Major General, does it mean that you rely in purchasing your products, you rely on Iraqis? So that means you're going to stop importing, or the American Army is going to stop importing their products from Saudi Arabia or other neighboring countries. So you're going to rely on Iraqis, on Iraqi products, as far as getting your logistics and your food from Iraqis?
We will continue to rely on many vendors from around the world to supply our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and civilians logistically. We have many vendors that come from the United States and other parts of the world that supply our different classes of supply and distribute our supplies. We saw an opening here about a year ago to increase the opportunity for Iraqi markets in the area of vendors. And so we were exploiting that opportunity today because we know Iraqis that bid on many of our vendor supplies, they deliver very well, they give us a product, and they're doing very well. So in the long run, we would like to grow that relationship so the Iraqis have more capability in your country to grow your economy and to supply our needs. Sir.
السلام عليكم. مصطفى كامل، جريدة الراصد ومسؤول مكتب عمال العرب في الاتحاد المجالس العمالية في العراق. سيد اللواء، هناك عدد البطالة
The unemployment problem now reached to about 75 or 70% of Iraqis, and you talked about purchasing or procurement and vendors and opening businesses for those vendors. Those products we want to see in the future, the Iraqi products, being flooding the markets, the Iraqi markets, Arab markets, and international markets, and instead of having other vendors, international vendors get in their or importing their products. Now we see the Iraqi the Iraqi plants or factories, they stopped working, like the glass factory, the dairy products factories, and all that. So what's the solution for that?
The solution is for us to continue to engage with the Iraqis, both the Iraqi government and with the marketplace, to increase and improve those capabilities that once was here in Iraq and now is on the mend and building up over time. The portion of the market that we're talking about in some of those things is what Rear Admiral Kathleen Dussault talked about last week when she talked about Iraqi First, that they are working very hard at purchasing more and more items from out on the economy as Iraqi businesses improved, state-owned enterprises and commercial enterprises. So the short term, is to start out here and to build these small organizations that can meet the requirements of not only the coalition but the society of Iraq.
السلام عليكم. نبأ جبار، الصحافة المستقلة.
I have 3 questions. What are the contracts that are available right now to so people can go register there? And also, what's your assessment to the economy right now, putting in mind the percentage of unemployment? And my third question is there any plans to build new industries in Iraq?
On your first question on what contracts are available, that is handled by Rear Admiral Dussault, who was here last week talking about Iraqi First. And her command, the Joint Contracting Command, has a list of all that information. To enter in to understand how to get into supplying and understanding contracts, in your handout we gave you, it's got a clean background paper on how you get into those contracts. We do that through a 4-step process. First of all, you can visit the website and learn about the LOGCAP procurement process and register as a supplier. Any Iraqi can do that. And then you need to respond to the proposals that they will put out. Once you're registered, they will put proposals out in order to see if you can fill those needs. And then they'll ask you to confirm that you can meet the specifications of those needs. And then you have to fulfill the purchase orders that they have given to you. There's other ways to help to get into this, and I would recommend to you there's 2 teams. It's the regional contracting centers that are on the diagram we gave you, along with the provincial reconstruction teams. Those people work real hard at facilitating for the Iraqis to get into the system, to walk you through it, train you on it, to evaluate your products so we can get you into the system to work it on contracts. On your second question on the economy, that is the very reason why we're doing this, because we are concerned about unemployment and the economy. And we understand,
سؤالي كان ما هو تقييمك للوضع الاقتصادي الحالي
My question was, what's your assessment to the Iraqi economy right now, the economy in Iraq, putting in mind the unemployment problem?
Right. I am not an economist. I am a soldier that is working in order to improve the economy of Iraq. And under direction of General Petraeus, those are the things that we're working in these two initiatives. I think it has a lot of possibility for growth, and that's why we're setting up this IBIZ program and working through the LawCap Iraqi First. The more contracts we can get out there, that's the way we strengthen the Iraqi economy. Sir.
السلام عليكم. حارث الناصري من وكالة العين. يعني هذه المشاريع.
Now, these projects that you talked about that's going to contribute in a way or another to stimulate the Iraqi economy, are these projects throughout Iraq? Are they distributed throughout Iraq, or they're only limited to Baghdad or other areas that has, or maybe there are other areas that has the same projects? As far as the contact or the way that Iraqi people can get involved in this, what are the ways that Iraqis can use in order to get involved in those projects? And thank you very much.
Okay. First of all, to answer your question, these projects are throughout Iraq. As you can see on the handout we gave you, that those are regional contracting centers throughout Iraq in the provinces that you can contact, and there's programs going on. The Joint Contracting Command, working with all the commands in MNFI, work projects throughout the provinces. So it's a nationwide program. Your second question on how to get into the system is, the process is, if they want to, for a labor job, they can go to two websites, whether they're a trade labor or a professional labor. They can get in the websites that are on your documentation there. They submit the required applications and documentation. They successfully go through interviews. Then they review what the employment offer is, if they get an employment offer, if they're qualified. They pass security screening, which is very important, and then they go on from there to get hired. All Iraqis are encouraged to explore job opportunities, both unskilled or skilled, professional or administrative, both male and female. The good news about the Iraqi First employment program, the advantages are this, is wages and salaries are at or better than the market rates and are paid dependably. Opportunities to learn and train, both on the job and through classroom training, are available for you in these programs. Opportunities to increase responsibilities and compete for higher level jobs and leadership positions are available. And you work in a fair, safe, and professional work environment. Sir.
ليث أحمد إذاعة العراق الحر. سيادة اللواء لا أعلم كان هذا
Major General, I don't know if it was your field of specialty or not. I really ask if you can answer this question, please. How much money the American Army is using, or U.S. Army is using, to provide services for their army every year? And do you think using Iraqi vendors or companies are going to reduce the amounts of funds that you're using every year for your army?
Okay. Last week, Admiral Dussault talked at this table on Iraqi First overall Iraqi initiatives. And she mentioned that there is about $5 billion a year that the Joint Contracting Command does in contracting. And about $2.5 billion are going into Iraq for joint contracting. The programs I talked to today about is about $4 billion a year in contracting for the LawCap program. We are just scratching the surface with these new programs, and what we want to do is get a greater market share for the Iraqis to be able to provide these goods and services. To do that, we have to work with the Iraqis to develop their systems, to enter into our system, and provide the quality products and the quality services that we need in order to maintain the operations. The good news about this, which is very important, is not just supporting a military operation, but the skills they learn are transferable to anybody. You saw on the slides and you heard me roll down the list of these skill sets of construction, electrical, building trades. All those skills are needed as the government of Iraq rebuilds and the Iraqi people rebuild their nation. As more construction comes in, it's good to have these kind of skill sets, along with managerial leaders and professionals in the engineering field that are working through these programs I talked to you about today. Sir.
سيادة الميجر جنرال
Major General, I want to thank you and applaud you for and commend you for those two programs that you, or two initiatives that we've been waiting on for so long now. I want to say one thing. There is some sort of isolation, media isolation, no media coverage. I mean that you have not done any media coverage or enough media coverage to get those information to the Iraqi people. My question is, do you plan to have any media coverage for that?
Yes, sir. That is the very reason why we're at this press conference today, to start talking more and get it into the media, these opportunities for the Iraqi people. And so General Petraeus asked us to come out here and to lay this all out so we get better exposure so the Iraqi people know about these opportunities out there. Sir.
Sam Dagger with the Christian Science Monitor. Thank you. I just have a couple of questions, if that's all right. My understanding is there is no minimal requirement or threshold for local content in the log cap. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I do not understand your question.
No, my question is there is no requirement that the log cap, as part of the log cap contract, that there be a minimal sort of requirement or threshold or minimal percentage for local content or local labor that's sort of hired as part of the contract itself. Is that correct?
What went in, the log cap contract is a contingency contract that we prepare for if we have to go on a contingency operation. And what they have to do is be able to meet the mission requirements that we give upon them. That said, over time, we have told them that we need to have more and more Iraqis hired. And so we have meetings with that. We give them that direction. We redirect work. Clearly, because of safety and standards and requirements, to hire out more Iraqis and get the vendors involved, they have to go through a process to make sure that quality control is there, from the items that they purchase from vendors into the quality control of the workers. So that's where we're at today. More and more Iraqis are coming in as the security situation gets better, and we have an opportunity to bring them on board to either hire them as workers in many fields, as I talked about today, or also to buy their products.
Sure. So there is nothing mandatory here. I mean, it's just you're expressing your desire to these contractors, saying hire more Iraqis or buy more local content, but nothing mandatory.
We sit down and go through negotiations with them when they do performance reviews to ensure that they are meeting the quality requirements of the contract and what we want to do in order to improve the economy and work through the pieces. And so that's how we work that process.
Right. But in your opinion, do you think having something mandatory would actually spur this program? Or, I mean, is that, in your opinion, if you were to mandate, from contractors to hire, say, X amount of Iraqis or to buy X amount of goods from Iraq, do you think that may help, expand it and actually have more impact on Iraq?
We believe in the negotiations that we do with them on a regular basis of driving these opportunities like we're doing, like I lay down in a briefing, is the most effective way to bring it online appropriately.
Sure. And my last question was, are you able to monitor or able to look at what impact this is having on communities that are particularly beset by violence or are still, facing an insurgency or some of the more violent spots around the country? Are you able to actually measure that? And if yes, can you provide some examples? Thank you.
We have not measured it quite the way you asked the question. We just believe that this kind of thing with economic growth is good for Iraq. And over time, we'll see how that plays out. As you know, the security situation has been improving over this past year. And so we think there's a lot of factors that go in this. And this is a very important program to get people economically involved with the funding that we have for some of our programs and to bring Iraqi people into this organization in order to improve their lives. Thanks. Sir? No?
Ibrahim from MBC. This project was happened contract with the government in Iraq with the forces, national forces. Is this IB's project has a budget to be happens in Iraq? And the IB's project, this will be in fact now on the side Iraq. All the people was concerned to be helped. All Iraqis that he want to employ in this project from any type.
Your first question, could you say again, please?
The budget of this project, because you mentioned that this is the biggest project now with the government.
The log cap project, not the IBIZ. The contract with log cap is the biggest budget for taking care of the services and goods and services for all the coalition forces. And so that's a contractual arrangement we have with log cap. The IBIZ program is the industrial base zone where we have businesses have an agreement, a permission to be on our base or adjacent to our coalition bases. And those IBIZ systems are small business, medium businessmen and women who come, who want to be on our base and provide some goods or services, which I laid out before. For the IBIZ, there is no budget. That's where there's a relationship with the base commander and the IBIZ worker who wants to start a business on our base.
You mentioned in your say there is 182 millions was spent, and around $100 million was also spent as a salaries. The figures of the budget for these projects with all.
Those come from the log cap budget, which we talked about, Iraqi First log cap, where they are entering into our markets to provide us supplies and services, and that's where those numbers come from. Does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you. Gentleman in the back, please.
السلام عليكم. خالد طالب من مجلة الأسبوعية. سيادة اللواء هل ساعدتكم الحكومة العراقية؟
Has the Iraqi government helped you with those two initiatives you're talking about as far as providing a database for the unemployed people or the people who needs work? Has the Iraqi government provided any facilitation as far as this initiative?
The Iraqi government senior leaders have talked to us about this, and that's why we're here today, to lay out where we are going with our programs. And they have worked with us closely with the VOTEC industries to align the VOTEC people that are going to school at VOTEC, vocational and technical institutes, to hopefully flow into these business situations when they get out of their school. And so the next steps are, after we set this up, as we're evolving these programs, is to continue to work with the government of Iraq and to do press conferences like this, to have more IBIZ, business-to-business expos and training sessions around the country so we get the word out, and then people have an opportunity, the Iraqi people, to come work. Sir.
يعني سيادة اللواء تكلمنا كثيرا عن
we have talked a lot about
المستقبلية
projects and future plans for things like that in Iraq. Coalition are doing in Iraq right now, but what we think is the rights of those laborers. We know that the people who work with the coalition, they get threatened and they get displaced and get kidnapped and killed. So is those laborers are going to get any insurance or life insurance? Is there any insurances or assurances for those laborers that when they go to work and when they retire afterwards? If you have any answers for that.
I do not run the details of the log cap program as far as all the negotiations with the salaries and also with the benefits. I know it is good salaries and a dependable, safe work area. I'll have to get back with you on the details of your question. Sir.
We know that the unemployed people has no capital or money to do projects or like that. Do you think the American Army or the U.S. Army is going to provide loans for those people or to start those projects? We know that we have a lot of widows in Iraq and they need projects like that. Do you have any directives to get women involved in certain projects, for instance?
Yes, I'll answer that by last week when Rear Admiral Dussault was here. She talked about the initiatives of getting women and widows into the workplace with Joint Contracting Command and some policies. So we are working in that direction. Last question, please. As far as loans, there are all, for some time now, there have been micro loans and micro grants given throughout the provinces throughout Iraq to help start out businesses and work that. And that works through the provincial reconstruction teams. And so that's the way we've been handling it, and that's how it's going to be handled in the future. Last question.
My question is about the lands that you mentioned, those lands that's going to be given to businesses or vendors next to or adjacent to the American bases. Is this going to be coordinated with the Iraqi governments?
How that works is that land is not given away. It's the coalition is on that land, and all it is permission to use the land. So it is not a deed, it's not an agreement, the land is not transferred over. It's given permission to operate a business on there for the Iraqi who gets that piece of land after he submits a business plan and it's approved by the base commander. Okay. Well, I'd like to wrap it up here by saying thank you very much for what you do every day, for telling the story, and for listening to this story today. Like I told you before, Ibrahim is just one of many success stories. And we're starting to walk down this path and moving out on some new programs that we wanted to bring out and talk to you today. These programs are not just to take care of operations that are going on now. These programs are enduring, that will impact on the Iraqi society for a long time to come. These skills and these training that will go on with the Iraqi people, and the opportunity to vendors to get involved in some big business are very important for the growth of your great country. So with that, shukran, New Zealand. Thank you.